The Bengals are Super Bowl bound. On today's episode, I'm going to break down the game between the Bengals and the Chiefs for the AFC Championship and give a very, very brief look ahead towards the Super Bowl. But all year, we've been saying, why not us? Well, it is us. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Way of the Dad podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the depths of dadness. If you like what you are hearing, please share the podcast and give it a review on the platform where you listen. Thank you. Hey everybody, welcome back. Glad to have you here. Well, it is another great day to be a Bengals fan. And I'm not going to lie, it's absolutely surreal. It is so hard to just like, you're trying to pinch yourself. Like, wow, is this real? Is this what this feels like? Is this what winning teams, like fans of winning teams, get to experience? It's hard to fathom. That was an amazing game. It really was. And in a weird way, it almost felt like almost a pure repeat of the Week 17 game between the Bengals and the Chiefs. The Chiefs come out hot. The Bengals come out a little conservative, a little safe, a little, running a little bit more than maybe you thought we would, or it seemed like we're committing to the run and it's not really working, and Patrick Mahomes is going out there being all loose and just throwing darts, and then the second half is a whole different game. I mean, like, how can two games be so identical? It's just, I don't know. And to find out that, again, the Bengals defense held Patrick Mahomes to Patrick Mahomes in the offense to 3 points. Again. It's just incredible. Just incredible. The Chiefs came out hot. I mean, gosh, by halftime it was 21-10. Now, I mean, that pass to Pirine, and Pirine ends up taking it to the house near the end of the first half, was great. But me and my buddy Dave were watching, and we were like, oh my gosh, we just gave them a minute at the end of the half, and then they get it after the half. Too much time. And I think it was like a minute 5, and I think they had a couple timeouts. I can't remember for sure now. And the D stepped up and changed the game. Absolutely stepped up and changed the game. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest. It does not hurt that Patrick Mahomes did one of the most bonehead things I've seen him do in a long time. They're down there at the goal line. I think on the 2. And you could tell the goal was to make a quick pass to the end zone or probably chuck it, out the back of the end zone, stop the clock with an incomplete pass so they can get a field goal at least and get 3 points. And he's running around out there. He doesn't see his first read. And then he looks over to Tyreek Hill. And I mean, I get it. In the heat of the moment, you're thinking, hey, Tyreek's been shredding these guys all day. Tyreek's got to get like 4 or 5 yards and just get in the end zone. So he swings it out, and Tyreek Hill got stoned at the 2-yard line. I mean, he ran into a wall. Eli Apple and Trey Hendrickson combined to absolutely put him in the turf right there. And so the Chiefs go into the half with nothing for all of their effort. They go in with nothing. And make no mistake, that's That's what changed the game. That's what got things going between the Pirine touchdown and that big stop. And then after that, out of halftime, Chiefs get the ball. They can't do anything with it. Now, admittedly, the Bengals got it, and me and my buddy Dave are losing our minds because they couldn't do anything with it either. We gave it right back to the Chiefs. The D stopped the Chiefs again, which was great. And then we got rolling. I don't know what it is about this team. I really don't. This team is such a strange second half team. And, if you watch the Chiefs and Bills game the week before, I kind of understand. I didn't buy into it, but I understand why some of these national pundits are like, oh no, there's no way the Bengals can keep up. Nick Wright went off with some ridiculous rant. Of course, he's from Kansas City, and of course, he's a gigantic Kansas City fan. But he was talking about how, there's no way the Bengals can keep up with the firepower of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' offense and stuff. And it's like, do you understand that sometimes offenses are dictated by the defenses they play? The Bills' defense couldn't stop anybody. Neither the Bills nor the Chiefs' defense could stop each other the entire game. That's just how it was. But the next game's not always going to be that way. There's been some games where I have not been surprised that the Bengals went into it, and it was a fairly low-scoring game. It was like, yeah, that's the way this Bengals team makes other teams play. They slow them down, they stunt them, they clip their wings a little bit here and there, and they can take a game that normally is played by a team that likes to score a lot of points and get real pretty, and it can turn into a really ugly game. But that's when the game changed. In some ways, they were right. The Bengals can't keep up with the high-powered offense of the Chiefs. So they stopped it. Instead of trying to keep up and play their game, the Bengals made the Chiefs play our game. And yeah, I'm going to use the our because it's easier to make sure everybody knows who I'm talking about here. But another big thing was Joe Burrow used his legs to keep these drives alive. There's an analogy that Colin Cowherd likes to use, and I listen to Colin Cowherd a lot. He's not always perfect, but he's a guy who's paid a lot of money to have really strong takes, not waffly takes. He's supposed to have strong takes, and that's why he has a whole segment every Monday where Colin was right and where Colin was wrong, because there's a lot of times he's wrong. There's an analogy I remember him using talking about quarterbacks, and there's two types, and it's a little harsh, unfortunately, for some teams to admit that their quarterback is the second of the two types, but there's two types. Your quarterback is either a horse or it's a cart, meaning that either the team has to pull your quarterback along and elevate your quarterback, i.e. the cart, or your quarterback's the horse, where he can latch himself up to everything behind him and just pull them along. And that's what Burrow's doing. Burrow is a horse. He elevates the team around him. He elevates players around him to become better than they are in a mind-boggling way. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. The Chiefs roster, head to toe, is probably better. It probably is, than the Bengals. But this much maligned offensive line that just could not protect Joe Burrow, and oh my gosh, there's no way that Joe Burrow's going to survive the night against the Kansas City Chiefs defense? Well, he got sacked less than Patrick Mahomes did. I think it was 1 or 2 actual sacks. Now, Burrow was doing a lot of moving back there. And Burrow was also throwing the ball real fast. But, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Burrow's not an idiot. And neither is Zach Taylor and Bill Callahan. They knew what the Chiefs were going to do to him. They've already seen him once this year. And so they game planned for it. The Titans game was totally out of the sorts. That defense there is ridiculous. But Burrow used his legs a lot. He ran for 4 first downs, if I remember correctly. At least 3 for sure. I think 4. I think I heard someone say 4. The kid is unflappable. And I'm going to use that word because I don't know what other word applies. He's unflappable. When the moment gets big, he gets even bigger. Just like McPherson, like I said in my last Bengals episode about The moment is never too big for Joe Burrow. And that's what makes him an extremely rare quarterback. It's not the tangibles, it's the intangibles. There was a report that came out this week that apparently the Dolphins in the 2020 draft reached out to the Bengals. The Dolphins had 3 first-round picks in that year's draft. 3 in the same draft. You get 3 first-round picks in the same year, and that should be able to transform your franchise. Or at least get it a heck of a lot farther down the road towards transformation. Right? You know? You 3 first-round picks. You're hoping at least these days you can probably hit on at least 2. They called the Bengals wanting to offer those 3 first-round picks that year plus more. And the Bengals said thanks but no thanks and hung up the phone. This is why. Now, as an aside, I still have no idea what the Dolphins were doing when they thought Tua was going to be better than Herbert. I always thought Herbert was going to be pretty decent. I didn't know if he was going to be great. And of course, the jury's still out on Herbert because, he's still young. And he's had 2 head coaches in 2 years. So give him a little bit. Give him some time to figure it out. But, hey, he looks pretty good, right? Chargers didn't blink when Herbert was there staring at him. But for some odd reason, the Dolphins did. And the Dolphins drafted ahead. And they were like, no, this Tua guy's way better than Herbert. I don't know. I never saw it in Tua. I saw Tua as being a pretty good quarterback, but kind of your typical Alabama quarterback. Just decent, but nothing special. But that's why you draft a guy like Joe Burrow. When Joe Burrow is standing, when a guy like that is sitting there looking at you in the face at the draft, that's why you don't blink. That's why you don't take any amount of ransom. No king's ransom would get between you and what you know is the future of your franchise. And then Chase goes out there and he didn't have a great, big, huge game. But boy, when he needed to catch the ball, there were moments. Oh my gosh. There was one moment where I thought Burrow was dead in the water in the backfield, and he slips out of the pocket, and he's running out to his right, and Chase breaks off and changes his direction, and Chase makes a big play. Chase caught a beautiful touchdown in the end zone. And man, you want to talk about refs who I'm pretty sure they swallowed their whistles. And I think they swallowed their flags too, because I don't know. I don't know if we saw maybe, 5-6 flags the entire game. And there was a lot of penalties going on. There was defensive pass interference all over the place. And I'm calling it on both ways. There was a lot of penalties that could have been called on both teams. Them refs were letting the boys play. They were not getting in the way of this game. I don't know if that was a directive from the NFL or what, but a couple times they did call it, and it was pretty blatant when they called it. I'll give them that. But me and my buddy were joking. I was like, man, I think somebody's going to have to stab somebody out here to get a flag thrown. You're going to have to, it's something you had to call cops on to get a flag thrown on them. And Chase makes this amazing catch in the end zone with a defender literally, it looked like he was giving the guy piggyback ride, okay? The guy was all over him, and he still caught the ball. It was gorgeous. Higgins made some big plays. Tyler Boyd made some big plays. But Jamar Chase also got something a little extra. He set the postseason yards for a rookie. Most yards by a wide receiver rookie in the playoffs. The kid just keeps breaking records. He keeps being awesome. Now, he may not be having these big statistical days like he was during the regular season, but that's regular season type stuff. That's not what happens in the playoffs. Because in the playoffs, everybody's good. You're rarely going to boat race anybody in the playoffs. And that's the NFL really does not want that. They want these games that come down to last-second field goals, last-second drives, or final drives type things. That's what they want. And that's what they're getting. And these games are really awesome for that. I'm not going to lie. Something that's small to aside, I was watching some post-game stuff, and I saw Ickey Woods out there on the field, doing the Icky shuffle for the fans. There was probably about maybe, I don't know, let's just say definitely less than 10,000 Bengals fans there. But they all came down to the bottom of the bowl after the game was over and after all the Chiefs fans left. It was really cool seeing Icky out there. And it was really awesome seeing Icky hand that Lamar Hunt trophy to Mike Brown. And a lot of people are kind of getting on Mike Brown, saying that's like the worst acceptance speech by an owner I've ever heard in my life, and blah, blah, blah. The dude is 86 years old. Do you know, can you imagine how tired he must be from getting all the way up in that box, down to the field in really short amount of time? I'm sorry, that was pretty fast. I don't know if somebody wheeled him down there. I don't know if somebody had a cart waiting for him, like a golf cart. But that was really, really fast. So, look, he's probably blown away at this point because this is the first time Mike Brown has ever held that trophy as an owner. And I imagine, look, we can rag on Mike Brown a lot, and I have, very rightfully so, a lot. But there's no such thing as an owner that doesn't want to win. There is such thing as owners who don't know how to win or want to win their way, regardless of whether it actually works. I mean, no offense, but look at Jerry Jones. Sorry, Dad. I know you're a Cowboys fan, but Jerry Jones is stuck to doing it his way, and he keeps not getting there. But you have to imagine Mike Brown as someone who, it wouldn't surprise me if he started to wonder, man, are we ever going to win? Am I ever going to get a chance to see myself in the same position my dad was, holding up trophies and at least having a chance at a Super Bowl? Because they haven't sniffed it since he took over. Now, I will credit the Blackburns, Katie and Troy and Elizabeth. They've really changed a lot of things. They've started to modernize certain things and approaches and things like that. Now, there's still some things that it's amazing that an NFL franchise can't quite figure out, such as an indoor practice facility. Not because I think that's the end-all be-all, but it's nice to be able to practice indoors because we're a northern team. What if we're going to go south and play, I don't know, like Tampa Bay or Miami or out west where it's warm, where we're cold? And now it benefits us to practice in the cold when we're a cold weather team and we know somebody's coming in and they're not. Benefits us to practice in the cold. But it'd be nice to have the option, right? So, but yeah, I mean, that was a special moment. And I wonder if Mike Brown was almost just like in awe, like befuddled a little bit, like, wow, this is really happening. I'm really holding this trophy. But I got to say, my heart sank. Me and my buddy, and we had some people over. We were all, when we saw that coin flip for overtime, and we saw it go the wrong way, and it was kind of a little like, oh, crap, here we go. But I also kind of in a weird spot, I felt like, okay, this game ain't over yet, though. We've been stopping the Chiefs. The defense has been stopping them. We just need one more. One more stop, guys. Come on. Trey Hendrickson is out there absolutely gassed. The whole defense was gassed, but they came up big. Jesse Bates and Von Bell combined to force that ball back up in the air that was going to go to Tyreek. I think it was Tyreek Hill that was supposed to catch it. I think it was. But Bates gets his hand in there, pops the ball back up out, and Von Bell's right there, catches it, and they just gave the offense a chance to go win the game. And Joe Burrow goes out there like it's, I don't know, any other Sunday in the world, and just gets him right down into field goal range. And I will say, well, Joe Burrow did some, but there's another Joe that made sure to help us seal this game. That's Joe Mixon. Me and my friend, we were ragging on the fact that they kept trying to run with Joe Mixon, which was having very, very limited success, especially up the gut. Now, when they did sweep out the left or the right, it worked a little better, but not great. But as the game dragged on, Joe Mixon started finding holes. And boy, did he find holes in that line in overtime. Joe Mixon just kept running. And they just kept running. And they just kept running. And he just kept getting us. And he got all the yardage we needed for McPherson to seal this game up and put it away. And this rookie kicker comes out and slams that puppy through the uprights. 12 of 12 in the postseason. A rookie kicker. A kid. 21 years old. Absolutely amazing. Last time I checked, I think Shooter McPherson has a record now. He either ties or he owns it outright. Record for the most 50-plus yard field goals in regular season and playoffs. Kid's amazing. So, it's amazing I'm talking about this right now. It's almost February and we're still talking about the Bengals playing football games. I'm not complaining, but I'm a little blown away. So, 2 weeks from now, Bengals are going to SoFi Stadium out in LA and they're playing the Rams, who are the first team to play in their own home for the Super Bowl. And I get that. That's great. Now, I don't expect it to be a home field advantage or anything because they can't do that with the Super Bowl. It's going to be a who's who and who has money to be out there and be at it and everything, and that's going to be great. But I'm not scared of the Rams. If I'm trying to be as objective as I possibly can be, the Rams don't scare me. That doesn't mean I think the Bengals are guaranteed to win or something, but I think the Bengals can win. I totally think they can win. Now, just as a quick aside, it absolutely broke my heart watching CJ Uzomah get carted off the field. I don't know what's wrong with his knee, but I would be very surprised if he comes back and plays in 2 weeks. Even if it's just an MCL strain or sprain or whatever, I don't see it. I really don't. So Drew Sample and I can't remember the name of the other tight end that's on the roster, and I know Thaddeus Moss, I think he's on the practice squad. Somebody's going to have to step up as a tight end. Drew Sample's going to have to spend some time learning how to catch passes or something. I don't know what, but run routes and catch passes. I mean, he knows how to block, but he's not a very good pass-catching tight end. So somebody's going to have to step up. Next man up. Put in the hours, put in the time, get it done. I think the Bengals can beat the Rams. I think the Rams have a reasonably... it's reasonable to think that they would win too. But that game they played last night against the 49ers, well, that wasn't some kind of big, offensive juggernaut output. No, the 49ers made them play a dirty game. It was rough. So, look, I think either team has a right to be. I think they both deserve to be there. But I believe in my Bengals. And they've made me a believer this year. Well, that's about all I got. Love to hear your comments and thoughts. Reach out on the email, wayofthedadpodcast@gmail.com, or reach out and message direct on the Facebook page, Way of the Dad Podcast. Love to hear from you soon. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have more to say at some point here, but this is just it's surreal and it's a great day to be a Bengals fan. Until next time, take care and have a great day. Thanks for listening. The Way of the Dad podcast is produced and recorded by, me, a stunningly average husband and father, who appreciates all of the likes, shares, reviews, and support you give. If you would like to reach out, you can find the podcast on its Facebook page, and of course you can email me at wayofthedadpodcast@gmail.com. Come back next time as we continue to fearlessly dive into the depths of dadness.